Hello everyone, thank you for joining me here for another gouache review. Thank you so much for your support, and we are almost to 100 subscribers, which is amazing. I wouldn't be here making this type of content if it wasn't for all the support you guys have shown me, so thank you so much, and we're on our way to 100. Okay, so let's get started. These are gram gouache that were not gifted to me. I purchased them, and I thought I should share my experience with these gouache because I did a review of the Holbein gouache a couple of months ago. These are the first artist quality gouache that I've ever purchased. I purchased the primary set first, and then I recently, a couple of months back, purchased a couple of additional colors from Jerry's Artorama. So I did want to talk about the company a little bit because it's pretty interesting in how they formulate their paints. So the company gram & Co. was founded 25 years ago by two artists with a passion for quality art supplies. And since then, gram & Co. provides one of the finest natural-based paints made in the US. According to their website, their mission is to create fine artist quality art supplies by providing superior coverage and creamy application. I purchased my first set on Amazon, and then I picked up a couple of colors at Jerry's. I have more information about their light fastness and the pigments on my blog, and everything is linked down below. So very similar to my last gouache review, I want to start out with painting an eye. I haven't used my gram gouache in a very long time, so I wasn't really familiar with how they mixed, and because I added these new colors into my small collection, I didn't really test them out and see how they mix together, so that's completely my fault, user error here. And then also just my techniques. I'm still learning and growing as an artist, and I am definitely changing my style a lot. So while painting, it was a lot of trial and error, and I made a couple of mistakes, but warm-ups are never masterpieces, so I wasn't gonna be too harsh on myself. And I love the quinacridone violet that I have and the Payne's gray, so everything was okay once I got to use those colors. The second painting I thought would be a good idea to do a little collage, very similar to the last time I did a Gouache review again. So this painting was done very much in the style that I usually paint with, because I want to know if these paints do work in the style that I currently paint in. So what I do first is an outline in watercolor, and I do a general wash afterwards. And then I go in with my gouache and I slowly layer that in very lightly depending on what look I'm going for. I will say that there's a lot of pigments in this paint, and a little goes a long way. If you're like me, I use gouache very thinly and then build up my layers as I go on, working from the eye out. But if you are like some artists that I know, they work with very thick layers of gouache right away. With these gouache, either way works. It's just whatever fits your style. You just have to be careful that you're not picking up too much pigment than you're originally going for. But if you work like me and you go in with very thin layers, I will say that the brush picks up a lot of pigment, more than you think, and it's very, very lovely. The vibrancy of the paints when watered down is very obvious, and compared to like the whole bun gouache that I did a review on, it's very similar, but I feel like these are a lot more pigmented and they're less chalky. So let's get into the pros and cons. So one pro is that they're very highly pigmented. They have light fast colors. They re-wet very easily. The honey that is mixed in the gouache prevents it from hardening and cracking, unlike the Holbein gouache, which does have that label that says that it might crack and fall out of your palette, which it does. These gouache, I noticed, are very soft and sticky, and it's very similar to my Mission Gold watercolors, which also is honey based, and it also has that sticky quality to it, and very shiny as well, but it is not shiny on paper, it's just shiny out of the tube. Some of the few cons that I have about the gouache is that it's not easily available outside of the US, and all the paints are completely opaque without adding white. I think these gouache will be great for anyone who is interested in advancing their art supplies and looking into artist quality gouache. You can get a simple primary set, or you can go to your local art store or online and pick up colors that you are interested in using and use it that way. Or you can go with a primary set and use that knowing that the colors mix well together, and you can learn how to mix the colors that you are interested in by just using the primaries. I hope this review helped you pick out the paints of your dreams, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!